In today's Daily Health, we are talking about how to relax. If you feel like you can't fully unwind, it might be because you aren't able to activate what's called your parasympathetic nervous system.
Yeah, medical experts specifically, warn that constant exposure to phones and screens are contributing to a rise in the number of people dealing with dysregulated nervous systems. But what does that look like, and how do we get back on track?
Neurologist and healthy lifestyle expert Dr. Leah Kroll joins us now. It's good to see you. So what does it mean, first off, when we say a nervous system is dysregulated?
Well, you guys, our nervous system has two main gears. The sympathetic nervous system is your gas pedal, your accelerator. It gets you into fight or flight mode, jumps up the heart rate, gets you ready to, jump into action.
Yeah.
The parasympathetic nervous system is the brake. It's your rest and restore mode. It promotes healthy digestion, healthy sleep, allows for some recovery. And if you're a dysregulated nervous system, you're having trouble switching between those two gears, and you end up sort of stuck with your engine revving all the time.
Can you walk through what that can look like, practically signs that your engine maybe is revving a little too hard?
So generally, feelings of anxiety and irritability are going to be increased, but specifically inability to relax even when you have downtime, even when there's no real reason in that particular moment to feel stressed. That's a big one. Sleep disruption is a big one too, whether that's difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, and also some GI symptoms.
So how much of this does have to do with us looking at screens so often? How does that play in?
Screens are intertwined with our modern life, so I'm afraid that they have a lot to do with this, and it's happening on many levels. First of all, there's the constant low-level stress that comes from being berated all the time with notifications and alerts, right? Yeah. So every time your phone pings, you get a tiny hit of dopamine, keeps you on edge, keeps you engaged, wanting more, so you can't really relax. Then you get into what I describe as the doom scrolling loop, where the brain is wired to focus on threats. That's why clickbait works. But unfortunately, the more you engage with that kind of content, the higher your stress hormones like cortisol are going to be. There's also a hijacking of your brain's attention systems that goes on with all of this, because we're asking our brains to constantly filter out notifications and distractions and switch between video content, text, images. So it really strains the attention networks, causes a lot of cognitive fatigue there.
And I appreciate, right, the systems were made to protect us, like when our ancestors were hunting, running from lions, but now our bodies don't quite know the difference between a lion and, say, a push notification.
Certainly not.
You mentioned it can show up in sleep, too. What can that look like?
Sleep is a really big one here. So this can happen either because you're addicted to the social media algorithms, can't get your phone down, you're scrolling late at night, or because you have screens on and the blue light from the screen suppresses melatonin production and release in the brain. And that melatonin is the brain's signal to power down.
Right.
This is important because if you're not getting a good amount of sleep, you're not giving your brain the rest and reset it needs.
I want to get to solutions. How do we change this? How do we get ourselves back on track?
It's small daily habits. So the first place to start with this is exercise. The endorphins you release when you exercise, the feel-good chemicals, they disrupt the stress circuitry. Then you want to look at setting boundaries with screen time. I know that's a lot easier said than done, but if you can put the phone down 30 to 60 minutes before bed, or be mindful about taking breaks, that can be really, really helpful. Mindfulness exercise like breath work can also be great for specifically activating the parasympathetic nervous system. Slow breathing, box breathing techniques really do wonders for this. Prioritizing spending time outside and socializing with one another, and then brain health basics. Taking care of your brain health is going to alleviate all of this. So that means nutrition, exercise, sleep.
Right, because so much of this is based in the brain. You mentioned breath work. Can you leave us with what does that look like practically? There is a specific technique, right?
Yes, a good beginner's technique is the box breathing technique. So you inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, rinse and repeat.
Well, we can do that during this break.
We can. Dr. Leah Kroll, thank you so much.
Yeah, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
your insights. We've got a lot more news ahead.
You're watching Daily.